when we're connected, when we care for one another, we all do better.
Together we will make Minnesota a more healthy, abundant, safe, and vibrant state.
We're stronger together because we have each other.
When neighbors help neighbors, the world is a better place.
When neighbors help neighbors, it brings love to the community.
Good evening and welcome to the Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota Celebration for Changing Lives. My name is Jesse Stremke, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President and Chief Development Officer at LSS of Minnesota. Tonight, we come together in celebration with a bold goal of raising $1 million to support our neighbors. When neighbors help neighbors and come together, amazing things are possible with LSS.
I'm Pastor Catherine Teedy, Associate Vice President of Philanthropy at LSS.
We are so glad that you've joined us tonight. This year at LSS, we've continued to adapt, connect, and grow in this changing environment. Tonight is another example of adaptation. I wish we could have been together in person, and yet I'm excited to celebrate virtually with you.
We are thrilled to have all of you joining us from across the state and across the country tonight. No matter where you are, please know that we are happy you have joined us for this year's Celebration for Changing Lives, an evening that is a powerful reminder of the ways that together we inspire hope, change lives, and build community.
As I reflect on this last year, I'm so proud of the ways that together we have accomplished so much for Minnesotans, even when we were apart physically. As some of you have heard me say, I've really come to understand LSS as a movement of neighbors coming together to help their neighbors. This movement is made up of 2,500 employees of LSS, nearly 10,000 volunteers, 600 congregations and faith communities, and more than 12,000 philanthropic supporters. And it takes each one of us doing our part to serve 1 in 65 Minnesotans who are supported by LSS. When neighbors help neighbors, amazing things can happen.
Working together, we are so much stronger than we could ever be on our own. We have seen and experienced that time and time again over the past year through creative innovations within our services, new partnerships formed, and through volunteers and congregational communities, and accelerated growth in our services because of the generosity of our donors.
Tonight, we are looking forward to sharing some of these stories with you. These are your stories. We can't do this work without you. Thanks for your partnership. LSS is stronger than ever and poised for meaningful growth that will accelerate progress towards our vision that all people have the opportunity to live and work in community with full and abundant lives.
We'd like to begin tonight with a word of prayer. Wherever you are, I invite you to join me. At the end of each petition, I will say, Lord, in your mercy, and you will respond, hear our prayer. Please pray with me. Gracious God, there is so much to celebrate. Thank you for the opportunity to gather at the Celebration for Changing Lives, an event that reminds us of the good that comes when we work together to serve our neighbors. Bless the many volunteers, employees, donors, and faith communities who join Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota in its mission. Grant these individuals open hearts, creative spirits, and renewed energy to continue this critically important work on behalf of their neighbors. Lord, in your mercy, we celebrate the connections that are formed by working for the common good. Thank you for relationships that inspire us, for relationships that strengthen our communities, and for relationships that allow us to walk humbly with our neighbors. Help us see new opportunities for partnerships and give us wisdom, patience, and a collaborative spirit as we work together to do more. Lord, in your mercy, we thank you for the many blessings of this life, for big things like the thousands of Minnesotans served by LSS, and little things like a computer that can connect us during a pandemic. Help us to remain grateful for blessings of all sizes and remind us of the multitude of ways that we can be a blessing to others. Lord, in your mercy. Thank you, God, for bringing us together for an evening of celebration. Bless our time together and inspire us to continue working toward a future when all our neighbors will live full and abundant lives. We pray all of this together, trusting in your mercy. Amen.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Tucson, and I have the honor of serving as CEO of Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota. On behalf of the LSS Cabinet, the LSS Board of Directors, and the Foundation Board of Trustees, welcome. At the heart of the LSS movement is the belief that together we can do much more to serve our neighbors than we could do on our own. It's a belief we've held since our founding back in 1865. It was then that Pastor Eric Norelius, along with his congregation at Vesa Lutheran Church, refurbished the basement of their church so that 4 orphan children would have a safe place to stay. Together, this small immigrant community did more to serve their neighbors in need than they could have ever done on their own. And 156 years later, that power of coming together to accomplish more remains at the heart of our work. For instance, in May, we broke ground on a new emergency shelter and family resource center at our Bethany campus in Duluth. Like the orphan children who came to Vesa Lutheran all those years ago, kids who come to Bethany today need emergency care. Upon their arrival, they find safety, stability, and importantly, hope. Our new campus will also allow LSS to partner seamlessly with families through our new Family Resource Center, a place that will offer supportive services to empower families as they pursue their goals. Our plan to reimagine Bethany has been a dynamic partnership between volunteers, generous supporters, and the LSS team. This partnership has resulted in a community resource that will inspire hope for generations to come. The impact of our collective efforts didn't stop at Bethany. It continued in the Jordan neighborhood of North Minneapolis, at Christ the River of Life Lutheran Church. Like Vesa Lutheran, Christ the River of Life also refurbished their church basement to serve their community, this time in the form of an LSS Meals production kitchen. Because of that kitchen, which was made possible by philanthropic support, LSS Meals is able to partner with the Minneapolis YMCA and Youth Prize to provide meals for young people experiencing food insecurity. Since establishing these partnerships in January of this year, more than 231,000 meals have been distributed to our young neighbors in Minneapolis. LSS continues to grow significantly. For example, our host homes for individuals with disabilities is a service that connects individuals with host families so they can experience the joy that comes with living in community with one another. Over the past 2 years, we have seen a 47% increase in the number of people supported through these services. Host home families and individuals have taken a cue from our founders at Vesa, discovering that by opening their hearts to one another, everyone's lives are enriched. These examples represent just a small portion of the remarkable work that has occurred at LSS this year in partnership with our donors, community organizations, and our neighbors. Together, we are doing more to serve our neighbors than ever before. Building community is an LSS core belief embedded within our mission statement. To more fully realize this core belief, I recently named Alexis Oberdorfer to a newly developed leadership position, Vice President and Chief Officer of Community Engagement and Partnership. In her new role, Alexis will lead LSS in partnering with other organizations and community leaders to advance innovations and partnerships that build healthier, more sustainable communities. We have seen the collective good that comes from pooling our knowledge, experience, and resources with that of our partners. By working together, our ability to serve our neighbors grows exponentially. And through that growth, we move closer towards realizing the LSS vision that all people live and work in community with full and abundant lives. Your commitment, Your generosity and your willingness to serve your neighbors in partnership with LSS inspires hope. It changes lives, and it builds community in ways that remind us that we can always do more when we do it together. Thank you.
Together, we will conquer all.
Together, we're going to be here to support the young people of this community.
We're stronger together when we stop and listen.
Together we will work harder.
Together, we'll learn one another's stories.
Together we will be together.
Together we will listen to the birds.
Together we will make a difference in our world.
We're stronger together when we're together.
We're stronger together when love guides.
We're stronger together because we help each other get through hard times.
Together, we will get through this.
Together we will learn.
We're stronger together because we can do more when we work together. It's a very simple equation.
We are stronger together when we love one another. Good evening. I'm Alexis Oberdorfer. I am excited to fill the new position of Chief Officer of Community Engagement and Partnerships. Nearly 30 years ago, I began my career serving children and families in community. Most recently, I served as the Associate Vice President of Adoption for Lutheran Social Service and the President of Children's Home Society of Minnesota. I'm honored to be with you this evening, and I look forward to the ability for LSS to grow our reach. While this is a new position, my relationships within the organization and my relationships within community are not new. We couldn't do this work if we didn't have incredibly dedicated and committed staff that were drawn to the work that they did and the care that they pour into the people we serve. As I think about where LSS is headed and the strategic objectives, I look forward to expanding our services throughout the diverse communities in Minnesota. I find it particularly important to move our services to the headwaters to improve the lives of the people we serve so that we can solve for disproportional representation and poor outcomes in a variety of systems such as health and wellness, child welfare, and education. Paraphrasing FDR, our 32nd president, we must and shall choose the path of social justice, the path of faith, the path of hope, the path of love toward our neighbor. There are so many individuals within our organization and across the state who are looking for a way to make a difference in our community. Every day, I am very proud of LSS and what we are achieving together. As we hold up anti-racism as a value, we are making efforts to create positive change. This shows up in the efforts of many of our staff across the organization, and I continue to be inspired. Our staff are deeply committed and passionate about our work and serving our neighbor. We are so incredibly grateful to the caring volunteers, and LSS could not be successful in our service delivery without your dedication. Many staff are willing to share their ideas of what works in their community. At LSS, we know collaboration leads to better outcomes. With this broad range of perspectives, with the paths of faith, hope, and love, we continue to accomplish so much more together. At LSS, we experience the good that comes from community partnership, and it is joining together we can expand our expression of our mission. I think it's absolutely important to listen to each other's ideas, that we work together, that we solve problems together. When we go it alone, it's such harder work, and we're not going to have the same solutions as if we bring others into this with us.
When we know each other's stories, we're transformed. We can't be the same person when we hear what it's like to be homeless, or what it's like to not be able to pay your rent, or you're struggling because your loved one has been really sick and has been in the hospital for weeks and months. We can't help but be changed by that.
It's our duty to help people, because everybody doesn't always have that push. When you help people, you're ultimately helping them find their place, their peace.
We don't just live by ourselves. We are humans, we live in community, we need each other.
No matter who we are or where we come from or what's going on in our lives, I think God has placed us in particular places at particular times to know one another, to meet one another's needs, and to build community together.
What does it mean to be a neighbor? That's a good question. Our neighbor are those people who are around us. So we welcome everyone to be our neighbor.
Sunboro Lutheran Church is an ELCA Lutheran church located in downtown Rochester.
What it means to me to be a good neighbor is to use the resources that I have and I want to share. I have enough, so I want to share what I have with others.
We just recently went through a renovation of our facility here.
It was important to the members here in Sunboro that whatever work we did inside of our building wasn't just for us, but it was also for our community.
We all kind of meshed around the idea of a shelter for youth, a resource center for youth. And the idea just clicked.
A resource center is a place for young people who either are experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. It's a place for them to come and make connections.
I think this was sort of a mutual mission, if you will, with Lutheran Social Service.
In my heart, I'm hoping that the Resource Center is a beginning.
We recognize that there's a need in our community, and Sunboro is made up of people who care, and when neighbors help neighbors, it's a win-win. We learn to feel good about caring about others, and others are feeling better because they're cared for.
I'm so grateful that I have personal resources that I am able to share to help this resource center get going.
The idea of the commercial kitchen started, I would guess, about 5 years ago.
Well, you know, Lutherans and coffee and sweets and you know, our potlucks and our meals. I just loved them. I just loved being here and being part of it.
We really explored a lot of options. We answered a lot of questions for the congregation. We also toured some facilities of other churches.
Well, when you're young and spry and living at home on the farm, you had 3-4 square meals a day.
And my mother was a good cook, and when I got married, I married a farmer too, and used to cook for probably 15, 16 people a lot of days.
Cooking didn't become harder over time. The choices of what to have became harder over time. You ran out of ideas. What you liked years ago wasn't so good for you now. So you had to try and figure out calorie-wise and nutrition-wise, and that got to be a difficult procedure.
Just nice that they have the senior dining and gives me a break from all the hard work that I did years back.
When the partnership between Zion Lutheran Church and LSS Meals began in conversation, we were very excited about the possibility of having a kitchen here in Litchfield.
What happens at the altar is what's happening in the kitchen. It's just an extension of that Eucharistic feast into the community. And I think that's a beautiful vision that we're now realizing.
A kitchen like Litchfield is producing our meals for older adults. Anyone 60 plus can get meals through home delivered options. We have curbside pickup that's available for people that want to swing by and get meals brought out to their car. And eventually here very shortly we'll be having congregate dining.
We're hoping that we will be able to involve other churches or recruit volunteers from other areas of Litchfield, because this isn't just, it's a Zion kitchen, but it isn't a Zion project. It's a community project.
We're down in Red Wing today. We're at the formerly Vesa Children's Home, and now it's an LSS office. Our team came down today to take a look at the kitchen for some possibilities of expanding our wonderful services into the southeast section of Minnesota.
This is the kitchen that used to serve meals to the individuals and the staff that were working here during that time.
When we look for a new place, we look for possibility. I can see that we could create a wonderful kitchen here and continue to grow. So much possibility here, and really excited to move forward.
We are going to expand and grow and serve. Our goal is to serve the entire state. Older adults is always going to be a priority. We're also looking at how do we service more of the youth that are in need of meals.
So this is our walk-in freezer. This is where we store any of our frozen items or breads or something that are going to go out the next day.
Christ River of Life is a production kitchen that opened on January 18th. And currently out of the Christ River of Life kitchen, we're serving roughly 2,400 meals a day.
We're serving great food, and it starts right here with a real big heart.
A production kitchen is basically a centralized kitchen where we produce a mass quantity of food and then send it out to satellite sites, or in our case, daycares.
YMCA is one of our partners. We are providing meals to all of the early childhood centers in the metro area.
We're having meatballs and potatoes, and we're having fruits, and then we're having bread.
LSS is great to work with just because they are already working in so many other social service aspects that they understand the humanness behind the programs.
Working in this church sums it up nicely. There's 3 active congregations that utilize this space, and right now there's a day camp, a Freedom School program. Then there's many other clubs and groups that come in.
Working with an institution like LSS is great because they definitely have support from other areas that they work in, fundraising, just all sorts of other programs that allow them to support the meal program.
Not only is it sharing the space that we produce in, but it's how can we as an organization kind of share what we can do for the communities.
I can just kind of see how they're going to grow and take the world on. I can see it every day here. They just don't know it yet. They don't even understand the things they do, and some of the things they're capable of is like really a big deal.
Freedom School is a summer program that's deeply rooted in the civil rights movement. It's a literacy-based program. The overarching theme is I can make a difference. And through the 6 weeks of programming, we have different sub-themes. We start with I can make a difference in myself, I can make a difference in my family, I can make a difference in my community, I can make a difference in my country, I can make a difference in my world. And week 6 is I can make a difference with hope, education, and action.
It's pretty interesting. There's some interesting people.
The kids here, they're fun, they're understanding, and they treat you like you belong.
The teachers, they have some interesting opinions.
Definitely the fact that Lutheran Social Service is one of the largest nonprofits in Minnesota allowed us to draw in a ton of resources.
It is so critical to have the support of organizations who believe in the mission of bettering children.
What makes Freedom School special is that it's more than just the concept of a school. Freedom School is a movement. It's a movement to celebrate and centralize and engage and empower children.
We're at Pathways for Youth in St. Cloud, Minnesota. This is the entrance. You ring the doorbell, they come up, they meet a volunteer or a staff, they get checked in. Whenever they come in, they have access to stuff on this table. They can take as much as they want whenever they want. A lot of them come in and they need a food bag or hygiene products or a clean set of clothes.
Pathways for Youth is a youth support service center. It's a safe and welcoming place for them to get a variety of different support services that hopefully help them sort things out.
If you don't have a place to shower and you're trying to get a job, yeah,
That's really hard.
They have so much to offer and so much to teach adults, and it's just really exciting to watch them grow and develop into adults.
They provide you with laundry money, a place to shower, things like that. These can at least help you have what you need to be able to get to where you want to be when you're ready to get there.
A lot of our youth are pretty transient, so they usually have a backpack, and a lot of these things have to be non-perishable or things that they can take with them while they're on the move. So we have a lot of snack food, peanut butter, chips, canned vegetables, canned spaghetti, things like that they can cook like on the move.
One of the things that I know is really, really critical to Lutheran Social Services, it's not just in word, but it's also in action, which is partnership.
We have Catholic Charities who helps us. We have the Rotary, St. Cloud Rotary Foundation that help us. And we have community members that are out there that are just willing to lend that hand.
Why should I duplicate what somebody's doing over here? I can accelerate, the things that we're doing and leverage, the things that we're doing for our youth. And this is the exact same reaction that we get with these community partners. We are better together, stronger together when we work through partnership in our community.
Helping them gain the skills that they need to be who they want to be and be the best version of themselves is incredibly exciting, incredibly rewarding, and just why we do what we do here.
Trauma is actually impacts children the exact same way, whether it's a natural disaster or, poverty or crime.
We all have things that happen in our lives, like floods or tornadoes or bullies or all kinds of things that are hard. And how it is that we respond to those hard things, we learn ways that we can recover from those hard things. So what are some of the hard things you guys have faced?
Being left at home by myself.
Oh, what was hard about that?
I was like super scared
Yeah.
The program was really designed for natural disasters, but what we found is it's very impactful for children who have gone through other trauma as well.
In this activity, everyone is going to be thinking about who they are, so they're going to write down I am and then something special about themselves. And they are going to draw a picture with crayon and then do a watercolor wash over it and frame it and be able to take it home with them. Every kid needs to know who they are and what value they bring to the world that makes them strong and resilient and ready to face what the world brings to them.
If for nothing else, the things that I want kids to take from the experience of Camp Noah are 5 major themes, which is I am someone special, I am a unique individual, I have a story to tell, my feelings are real, my feelings are valid, and they're connected to real life experience. I'm a survivor, and I belong to a greater community.
When a community comes together, they can provide healing for everybody in that community. What you hear about a disaster is what happens right when it happens and shortly thereafter. At Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota, we're there for the long term.
I always appreciate an organization that really looks at sort of the whole of a person.
I did the nursing assistant course when I was in my senior year of high school. I wanted to do more than being a nursing assistant.
Financial counseling is just helping families or individuals get a grip of their finances.
Everybody's financial situation is different. Everybody comes from a different financial background. There is no one size fits all for everybody.
LSS really helped kind of open those doors to seeing ways you could consolidate your debt and other ways to, be financially stable. I think that was helpful.
You don't have to do things by yourself.
We really want to make sure that we're working with you to fine-tune what your situation's needs are.
In the face of a lot of challenging things we see go on in the world, there are ways for folks to really get meaningful help, make meaningful connections, and really make meaningful progress in their lives.
Well, we all need help. at some point, whether it's when you're young, when you're old, or if you have a crisis, we all need help at some point. We all have to ask for help, and not a lot of people are good at asking for help.
I think in many situations it's hard for people to understand or see themselves as caregivers. They're just the spouse.
The first thing I would tell a caregiver is, what are you doing for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of your loved one.
It's important to help these care providers because they need a community outside of their own context and their own situation where they often feel isolated and alone.
We work with families who are taking care of an older family member or friend, and so we provide supportive services so that caregiver can remain healthy.
March of 2020, when COVID-19 pandemic hit, our service line was no longer able to offer our in-person services.
I called Jessica and I'm like, better buckle up because I think that our iPod project is really going to take off, and boy did it ever.
We already had a program, and so that was a huge strength for us because we were able to take resources we already have and expand that to be able to provide our services statewide virtually.
The Zoom caregivers meeting. There's about a half dozen of us. I can just feel better listening to somebody else talk about what their situation is and having how to handle it. So we kind of feed off each other, and we also support each other with suggestions and ideas.
What I really see within our services is a group of people kind of willing to stand up for one another, to be there when nobody else really is.
He knows how to do things that I would normally do, or how to get me up, and just all my daily activities.
Technology is a great tool to connect people to any of the resources they need in growing their faith, staying connected in community.
The technology piece has been very valuable, just even recognizing what we currently do and what we can build upon. That's been a true gift to our congregation, opening our eyes to the promise and possibility.
When I came on board, nobody knew how to use iPads.
We were seeing families that were falling through the cracks, people that lived in very rural areas, and they weren't always able to access services.
When people are not able to come into church, they lose their sense of community.
Can we start? Okay, so this is the iPad that we were giving our students.
I'm a farm girl from Tyler, Minnesota, and married for 5 years during the Vietnam War.
I think the first technology I ever got that was my own was an iPod Touch when I was 11.
We listened to the radio so much, the radio was important to us. So we'd go out to the barn and milk cows to listen to WCCO.
I was pretty young, I think it was 5th grade, but I got an iPhone for Christmas and I was really happy because a lot of my friends had phones then.
All my other family members had iPads, iPhones, and I didn't have that.
When we started training folks in 2015, we learned that older adults have the skills. It's just that they need somebody to help them build up that confidence, somebody that they trust. Just knowing that they have that support if they need it is a game changer.
Pastor Brandon recruited 3 teens to work with the seniors on learning iPad technology.
I thought it was a lot of fun. We had to start from the basics, like what an iPad is, how to use it, the buttons, how to turn it on and everything. But it was a lot of fun.
When I get mad at it, then I'll wait for about 2 days until my temper gets down, and then I'll call Rachel.
To be able to see someone, their face, their reaction, and a whole group of family just was a huge blessing.
Through innovations, technology, and new collaborations, LSS services are reaching more of our neighbors every day. It warms my heart because I know that a relationship with LSS changes you. Whether you're the recipient of a service or the provider of a service, genuine life-changing relationships are formed. And those are the types of relationships that make our communities stronger.
We'll never know 20 years from now how much impact we might have made with just one interaction with a youth.
I love Freedom School. I don't know where I would be without the movement. It made me love my name. It made me the rock star educator that I am, and a really cool mom. So thank you, Freedom Schools.
Being a caregiver has taught me how to love more.
My heart explodes when I think about the opportunities and that we have to really make a difference in people's lives.
Community is important because you can't escape it. It's everywhere. It's at your job, it's at your neighborhoods, it's in the places where you enjoy the most, whether they're basketball, gyms. So we need to foster that, and fostering community is ultimately the best way for us to change things. So.
One of the things that I love about LSS is that we serve our neighbors as individuals. We don't take a one-size-fits-all approach. We know that everyone is at a different point on their journey. We give individuals the tools they need to change their lives, meeting our neighbors wherever they are, and then walking with them towards their next goal leads to inspiring outcomes.
Neighbors help neighbors by caring for them, letting them know somebody is there for them.
Together we'll be best friends forever.
Neighbors help neighbors by uplifting them and making sure that they are feeling welcome in the community.
We are created to be in relationship with God and with one another. I think we're hardwired as human beings because when we're alone, when we're isolated, when we're not in relationship with other people, we are less than what God intends for us to be. And so it's a critical part of what it means to be a human person, to be in relationship with other people, and also, I would say, as a Christian pastor, to be in relationship with God and to do the work that God calls us to do.
It is an expression, I believe, of the love of Christ to make sure that our most basic needs are met, and by taking care of our neighbors.
Sometimes you're having a hard time and you just don't know what to do, and then it feels really good when someone just comes up to you and tries to cheer you up and make you feel better.
The iPad has helped me connect with people that I never would be connected to, and that gives me a strong feeling of strength and not being alone.
I learned that it's okay to tell people what your fears are.
Together, we can achieve more.
Living a life of generosity changes the person who's being generous. And if you see the work that our organization is doing and it's impactful, it changes lives, and it aligns with your values, then that becomes a very easy avenue in which to be generous and to give and to support that organization, whether you are a Christian or not, because it's doing work that literally changes lives.
Tonight, we have seen and heard about so many things worth celebrating. We've heard about LSS serving more neighbors in new and different ways through creative partnerships that extend our reach.
We have seen the faces of those people whose lives have forever been changed through relationship with LSS. People like Jim, whose life has changed through service, and Linda, whose life has changed through connection.
And we have been inspired by how lives are changed when neighbors lovingly serve each other.
LSS is a powerful movement for good, and our work together is helping more and more neighbors experience full and abundant lives. But we know there is still more work to be done.
As supporters of LSS, your generosity propels this movement forward.
Each year, the individuals who come together in generosity at the celebration of changing lives gives LSS its largest annual gift of the year, over $1 million in support. This collective gift directly enhances our mission by supporting over 24 lines of service that can be found in all 87 counties of our state and result in 1 in 65 Minnesotans being supported by LSS. Tonight, I would like to invite you to join me in making this life-changing gift to LSS again this year. You can do so now by going to the Give Now section just below this video and on the right side of your screen. Or you can go to lssmn.org/celebration to make your gift.
And if you need a little more inspiration to click on the Give Now button, here it is. Tonight, a group of donors has come together to provide a mega match opportunity in the form of a dollar-for-dollar match of every gift given up to $300,000. Additionally, there is a $100,000 match for every new gift to the gala.
Together, we will serve more neighbors and make Minnesota a better place.
I'm hopeful for continued growth and opportunity to serve our communities.
I'm hopeful for a better tomorrow.
I'm hopeful for a community that creates space for our young people.
I'm hopeful that we'll be able to spend time together face to face soon.
Together we will create a new world.
Together we will rise.
We're stronger together because we love each other.
Thank you for joining in our celebration this evening. This evening's generosity will allow LSS to continue to serve our neighbors in every Minnesota county, pushing the LSS movement to where it needs to be today, tomorrow, and in the months ahead.
Your generosity is truly something to celebrate. And because gifts are still being received, we will be celebrating the final tally of your giving via an email within the next 48 hours. We are confident, however, that the generosity of this community will be bold and remarkable. We're excited to share the news. Until that time, please accept our heartfelt gratitude for your gifts.
Tonight, we have shown that together, we really can do more to serve our neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't imagine being in another organization and being able to have the impact that we have.
We're stronger together when we listen to each other, when we're willing to learn from each other, and when we're willing to do the hard work that God calls us to do as we seek to love and serve the neighbor.
Together we will, with compassion and humility and generosity, make a difference for everyone.
you.